Idris, Bloodsport isn't a big rat fan, which upset me because I love rats. How about yourself on set? Was there any awkward moments with the two little guys?
Listen, I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan, I will say. I'm a bigger fan than Viola Davis, who is not a big fan. Daniela is really comfortable with rats. I just have to just say that. So there were a couple of moments where, I was the line between my character and who I am blurred, especially when it came to the rat scenes.
Daniela, happy to hear you love rats because they're the best. Daniela, this is your first kind of experience of this kind of big film. It was about a year and a half ago you filmed, but is there one particular sequence that still remains in the memory about like most memorable or craziest?
Oh God, I have so many memories. But maybe one scene that I shot with John Cena that I had to do my own stunts and I had to like fall on the floor. And I had to fall many, many times. On the next day, I had a massage and I was fine. But then I can't choose one particular scene because we had so much fun. And I just loved like being all together and having fun between takes.
I really like the action with Joel, not only because, Joel stated before, it was not just meaningless action. There's a lot of context there. Like each of us go through a lot in a very short period of time in that one space, and I thought that was very neat.
Yeah, every action sequence felt very unique to the characters that were engaged in them, and they had purpose to them. I absolutely loved it. Joel, I guess the same question for you. Was there a particular sequence that you really enjoyed filming?
Yeah, it was the same, and I just thought of that now. I think our characters both had their most profound emotional moments in the film during the fight scene, and that's rare.
Probably where on the hangar, when we're all walking down in our costumes and we're coming out of these trucks, and then it's our intro and the music's playing and James on tannoy and the 100 crew, everyone's like eager and boosted, and there's it was like a music video. We just thought we were so badass walking down like that hangar, and really we were pathetic and like really
badass.
That's such a great scene. I love that scene.
It's just it's something I'll never forget. That was just a day for me where I was just like, oh, this rocks.
And Elise, am I saying that right? I'm sorry, is it Elise?
Yeah, you say perfectly.
Elise, what was your most memorable moment on set?
I think it's funny because it was the first day that I was filming, and it's when I made the squad, and I remember laughing a lot. I remember like just having a joy meeting those characters and those actors. They were so great, but like the characters and the way that James Gunn was creating them, and kind of with the stupidity, with the funniness and all that, it was really wonderful to be a fan of this world and being inside a set and looking what he was creating and being in awe of, oh my God, this film was going to be really good. Because if we were laughing on set, I knew people were going to laugh in the theaters.
Probably that scene that we have with Harley Quinn and we start breaking things all over the place. There's a moment where there's a candle that catches fire, and we had a few tentatives at that, and we almost caught fire, and that was fun.
Fun, not scary, fun.
Not scary.
Oh,
just fun.
And Joaquin, what was your most memorable moment filming?
Oh, when I interrogar, ¿cómo se dice, Juan Diego?
Question.
When I question to Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah.
When she's in my prison.
With her hands up and
yes,
she's hanging.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
it's very tense.
Yeah.
And so Joel, I'd just like to ask, obviously you worked on the previous version, now you're working on this one with James Gunn. What was the process very different? What was that experience like compared to the first one?
Yeah, very different. We had a great process on the first one too. But this was a completely different animal. It was, James Gunn taking on the Suicide Squad and really giving it, Suicide Squad. He's putting the Suicide Squad in a James Gunn universe, and it had a completely different feel to it. And I think we all felt when we got the script that like, wow, this is exactly what we always hoped it would be.
Did you find that you approached the character much differently? Was that, or did you kind of take anything that you'd worked on previously and bring it into this iteration?
No, it was, I mean, usually when you come back to a character that you played before, there's, you know, there's a familiarity to it. And you also, I really like coming back to characters that I've played before. You feel like you're expressing more, but with less effort. But here it was really a reinvention of the character together with James. We decided that we weren't going to be bound to what I did in the first film. And, you know, this script is such a different universe. So we really wanted the character to be all it could be in that universe.
Idris, both yourself and James Gunn have spoken about the fact that you just wanted to work together and you didn't necessarily know what character you were going to be playing at the start. It's got such an incredible ensemble of characters. If it wasn't Bloodsport, is there someone else in the Suicide Squad that you'd have liked to play?
Well, I don't think he's in the Suicide Squad, but I would have liked to play, you know, the Superman character that's the bad guy. I think it's kind of Superman Bizarro, right? Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think he's in the Suicide Squad, but that's a character in the DC world that I'd love to have a shot at. I'm just putting that out there.
I mean, I don't know if she's actually done this Suicide Squad. I have to look this up. She's a DC Comics, but Lady Shiva, because she does a lot of weapons and martial arts, that'd be pretty cool because I could bring out my skill set. So, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Elise, what about you, Elise? Who would you play if you could be a DC character?
Oh my God, it's so funny because people were like asking James if I was Poison Ivy. And it's so funny because I was like, James, who's saying that? I'm not Poison Ivy, what is that? But then I was thinking, and I read more about Poison, I was like, that's interesting. It's a good villain. I think that would be cool.
I would love to be Idris Elba, just not the character, just the guy, because he's amazing. But I would love to, oddly enough, I would love to play Harley Quinn. I think she's a fantastic character. And I think I would look very nice on a red dress.
The red dress, yeah, I could see that. And Joaquin, is there another character in the Suicide Squad you would love to play?
Yeah, the King Shark.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It had a lot of emotional depth to it in a way that I wasn't particularly expecting. And Elise, for you, how was that balancing, like you're talking about the humor and the action with those levels of emotional depth? What was that like for you?
It was really interesting because when I arrived on set and I understood what James was doing with the tone of the film as a comedy and as fast and pace and he was throwing in ideas, I wanted to know with him what he wanted from my character, that is the normal character apart from the squad. It's a completely different, it's what it grounds the reality of the other part of the story so they can, you know, live. So I just asked them how it could help their journey into that sense, and if you wanted more comedy or if you wanted real reality and ground, and we found hopefully this balance. I really followed James on that path to find that tone.
Idris, you've worked on other massive films like this and including Marvel films as well. How did this compare as an experience to be in DC as opposed to the MCU?
I mean, you know, in terms of scale and, you know, the way these films are made, the films are very at par. And of course, James Gunn, you know, knows the formula of Marvel as well as Marvel does. So there was a real sort of, you know, symmetry there. But for me as a character, you know, playing Heimdall, who is a pivotal character, but much smaller, versus Bloodsport, who's a central character, is like a big difference. It's a massive difference. And obviously, you know, I had a little bit more sort of influence on the early discussions around, you know, Bloodsport's costume and what he looks like. And, you know, because this is the first time he's sort of being depicted in a really big screen. And
Juan Diego, I want to ask you about the birds. What was that? Obviously, what were they real birds? What was going on there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they were real birds. And there were so many. That was a lot of fun, too. Of course, it was complicated because they were beautiful birds, but what they do is they poo a lot. So it was very difficult to keep the costume somehow, mine and hers, somehow clean. That was complicated, and they're very noisy as well.
Right.
But they're beautiful birds.
What was the the biggest kind of scary element jumping into this film? Because obviously, Joel, you've done this before, and John, you've done some big productions as well. But what was uniquely kind of, I guess, difficult or scary about this experience? Joel, I'll start with you.
For me, I have to say that doing something that was so overtly comedic, and having lines that were, you know, designed to be funny, and I just haven't done that before in this kind of you know, direct way. So that's also my favorite part of this process, was to take on that challenge. But that's what was scary to me.
Wearing wedges. Joel's so tall and Idris is so tall, and so is David Dasmalchian. Really, I had to wear 3.5-inch wedges as Peacemaker. Wearing wedges, I have so much more.
I wear wedges all the time, so I know what that's like.